Greetings, I'm Reverend Dr. John E. Jackson Sr., and I'm the senior pastor of the Trinity United Church of Christ in the great city of Gary, Indiana, where we are not just another church, but we are a culturally conscious, Christ-centered church that's committed to the community. We are unashamedly Black, and we're unapologetically Christian. And it's Wednesday, and I want to offer what I call Hump Day Homily, or some midweek motivation for you. And we are in election season. We are in the season of COVID, this deadly virus that the president takes lightly. We are in the season of COVID-16, 19 and police brutality. But we're in election season, y'all. And the election season at the top of the ticket, of course, is the presidential election. But there are other elections. There are judges. There's Senate races. There are other offices that are extremely important also. But I'm not that person that says, vote and that's it. No, we got to do more than vote. To make that vote count, after you vote, you got to get engaged with some organization, some group to help make that vote count. So I want to lift up an anecdote from the life of the late and great Dr. Howard Thurman, that great mystic, that pastor, that preacher, the theologian. This was an awesome man. And I want to lift up an anecdote from his book, his autobiography. It's titled With Head and Heart. I offer that to you to acquire and read it. It will bless your life. But there's a snippet in there that I want to use to illustrate this important season that we are in. He grew up in Daytona Beach, Florida, and he was back in Daytona Beach, Florida one time. You know, this is during racial segregation, where there were whites-only signs and colored-only signs all over the place. He was walking with his daughters down the street. They passed a school with a park and had swings on it. His daughters wanted to go swing on those swings. He had to explain to his daughters this. He says, "Baby, it is against the law for us to use those swings." And his daughters said, "But we didn't do anything wrong. Why is the law against us?" He said, "Baby, it's against the law for us to use those swings, even though it is a public school." He said, "At present, only white children can play there." He said, "But here it is. It takes the state legislature." He said, "It takes the courts." He said, "It takes the sheriffs. It takes policemen." He said, "It takes white churches." He said, "It takes the mayors." He said, "It takes the banks and businesses and the majority of white people in the state of Florida. It takes all of that, baby," he said, just to keep two little Black girls from swinging on those swings right there." He said, "My darlings, that is how important you are." He said, "Never forget the estimate of your importance and your self-worth. It can be judged by how many weapons and how much power people are willing to use to control you and to keep you in the places that they have assigned you. You," he said, "are very important little girls. Your presence can threaten the entire state of Florida." And to you, my brothers and sisters, whose skin has been kissed by nature's sun, I want to use that as an illustration for you to understand how important you are. Your presence threatens an entire nation. Your presence threatens an entire nation, an entire country. It takes police unions and predator police officers. It takes grand juries. It takes corrupt prosecutors. It takes mass incarceration. It takes right-wing hate groups, from the Proud Boys to these well-armed racist militia groups. It takes all of that. It takes voter suppression by Republican governors. It takes stacking the Supreme Court in an election year. It takes blocking legislation from coming to the floor in the Senate. It takes white, wealthy lobbyists who craft legislation to oppress you. It takes white church evangelicals who have turned their back on the Prince of Peace to embrace an imp of darkness in the Oval Office. It takes the insensitivity and hateful lying and the deceitful ways of a president who will do anything to get back in office. It takes all of that to keep you in a place that others have assigned you and rob you of your right to your civic responsibility and your right as a human on this earth at this time and this day. It takes all of that to take your vote away, to take your access to resources away, and to try to prohibit you from living the life that Jesus said he came that you might have, a life of abundance. Don't you ever forget how important you are. Don't you ever forget how much worth you have. It can be measured by the length that people will go and by the weapons they will employ just to keep you in the place that they have assigned you. Don't ever forget how important you are at this time in history. Use that right to vote and use your action to make that vote count, because you are more than a conqueror already, and greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Don't you ever forget it. Now you be encouraged. You make it a great day. Exercise your right to vote, but also exercise your right to be after you vote. I love you, and guess what? I am so glad the tomb was empty. God bless you.